now, flash forward, you're going to have your containers. I would suggest when you get your container of milk ingredients on day 2, hold it real tight and give it a good shake because you're going to need to reincorporate that stuff up. Okay, so give it a good shake on day 2. And then you're going to pour your flour from your other container back into a bowl real quick. And then you'll pour your liquids back into the bowl. Actually, you probably don't need to pour them back into the bowl. Once you've shaken it up in the container, just pour right in, right? And then make a well in the center of your flour, another way to control the gluten or protein formation. And you're going to pour those liquids right into there. At this point, you would also have your partner be warming up the pan on the stove, getting it nice and heated so you can do the sizzle test. Alright, and then you don't want to use a whisk at this point, because if you do, you're going to get clumpy batter stuck in between your whisk. You want to use a stirring spoon or something that doesn't have a hole in the center, right? And you just stir gently. You want to do this until it's well combined, and you don't want to over stir. Another thing that forms too much gluten makes your pancakes tough. Overworking out makes your muscles tough. Over stirring makes your pancakes tough. Okay, so how do I know when I'm done stirring? Well, when you can't tell the difference between one ingredient and another. Okay, so you get in there. When you're stirring, you don't just do this. That's lame. Come on, get in there. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, scrape all around the bowl, even turn the bowl while you're stirring. And then you will see some chunks, right? That's okay. Some of the particles are going to stay sort of chunky, like the butter that's reformed a little bit. It's going to be like kind of particles of butter on top. That's awesome because that butter is going to melt down in your pancakes. It's going to be fantastic. Alright, that is about what you want. Like that. Okay, it might at first seem a little runny, but as the carbon dioxide forms in the baking powder and baking soda, as you can literally see happening, as those bubbles start to form, this batter will thicken up. And then you can see, watch, I'll show you the bubbles again. They're just forming like crazy on the surface. That's awesome. The longer you let this sit, to an extent, the fluffier pancakes will get as the carbon dioxide forms from the leavening agents. Alright, let me go heat up my pan. Alright guys, I'm going to just use the gas stove for this part of the demonstration. Just to show everyone, even though we only have one gas stove in the kitchen, if you ever have an opportunity to use one or you're in a place where you need to, here's some things that you want to consider. The gas stove does create a flame when you do it, so make sure you're not having anything that's flammable, which is not a good idea on any stove or oven, but definitely on a gas stove. Nothing flammable nearby. Anytime you turn on a burner for the oven or for the stovetop, you have to actually gently push the knob in a little bit. You can't don't just turn it, okay? That's a safety feature for children, right? They have to actually figure out how to push it in, and you can't just turn it on by spinning it. And once you turn this on, you're going to spin it to the left, and you stop at the flame. Oops, I have it on the wrong one. Let me pull this on the back burner. Okay, so you push it in, and you stop right at the flame here, and you make sure that the fire has ignited. If I just push and turn it past, you probably can't hear it, but it's emitting the gas. You'd smell it. It smells like rotten eggs. No fire, right? That's bad. Okay, so if you go too quickly and you don't stop at the igniter, make sure it's ignited while it's clicking. That's not a good thing. So once you've seen the fire come on, you can adjust it then to the temperature that you want as needed, right? Lower or higher. And when you're all done, you just crank it off. Okay, so again, push gently, stop at the flame, listen for the clicking, watch for fire, turn to where you need it. Okay, in this case for our pancakes, we needed about 350 degrees, which is about medium. And then here's the pan we're going to use for our pancakes. It's a really good pan. We just got these this year, so they're nice and new. You're going to take a little bit of oil and just kind of grease the bottom a little bit. And you use your basting brush, which is over in the tool area with all the other tools that you gathered for this recipe. Spread that oil all the way around. And then let this pan heat up. In a minute, we'll do the sizzle test and we'll make sure that the pan is nice and ready. Alright guys, pan's feeling like it's warming up. I'm going to just do a quick sizzle test. Put a little bit of water on my fingers so you can get it straight from the sink. And then you just go. Here it's sizzling, right? Perfect. If it does like a turbo sizzle, that's too hot, right? Pick the pan up, adjust the temperature, let it cool. If it doesn't make any sizzling, that's bad. So give it a little more time to warm up. Alright, and now we're going to use our portion scoop, which is also over by the tools. If you notice, like I said, our batter's going to kind of thicken up a little bit after it sits, absorbing all of the stuff together in there. Take your portion scoop. You want to make sure you don't make your pancakes bigger than your flipper, because then you can't flip them. And all you want to do is wipe that little drippy part off. No big deal. We don't want to make a huge mess. And we drop that pancake in there. Let's do about 2. If your portion scoop is a little smaller than this one, you would do 2 scoops for 1 pancake. But you could fit 2 pancakes in this pan. If you're really good, you could do 3, but let's not try to push it. And at this point, if you want to sprinkle in some chocolate chips, this is when I want you to add them. I don't want you to add them into the bowl with the batter, because then you're constantly re-stirring the batter to try to reincorporate the chocolate back into the batter every time. Plus, maybe your partner doesn't want some chocolate chips in there. So this is a way to customize it. You could also sprinkle on a little cinnamon if you're in the mood for that, or any other toppings if you're making these at home. But before you flip this, hey, listen, before you flip this, you need to coat those chocolate chips with batter. So man up, right? You're going to go like this. Right next to each chocolate chip. You're not touching the pan. Be careful, right? You're just taking a little bit of batter and dabbing it on those chocolate chips so they don't flip when you, so they don't burn when you flip them. If you flip those exposed chocolate chips, you'll have burnt chocolate chips in your pancakes. All right, let's get you down a little closer here. When these are ready to flip, the bubbles that are forming are popping. Okay, so the bubbles that are forming are filling up with hot air or steam. It's cooking through the pancake. If you flip it before the bubbles pop, then you haven't completely cooked all the way through the pancake, right? Once the bubbles mostly are popped, that means the steam is done cooking through the pancake, and so it's time to flip them. So we're real close. This one's definitely ready. It was the first one on. When you go to do the flip, guys, don't hesitate. Just get in there, get a good, under there, scoop. And the big mistake people make is they flip it, and when they go to flip it, they don't lift it high enough, and then they fold it in half when you flip it. So you want to pick it up high enough and do a flip. Don't you dare take this flipper and squish this pancake now. Why? I don't know who decided we should be doing that. No squishing the pancakes. We did all of this work to make these nice and fluffy, and the last thing you do is squish them? No, don't even. Okay? Get in there, lift it high, flip, no squish. Okay? Oh my gosh, these smell freaking great. You're going to be very proud of yourself if you just trust me and do all the little things that I tell you to do. Okay? You'll have about 8 to 10 pancakes to split between you and your partner, and they'll be fantastic. Go ahead and keep doing all the batter, keeping in mind that you don't drip everywhere. Your little batter drips need to be cleaned off as soon as possible, because pancake batter gets really hard to clean when you drip it. And lastly, when this pan's all done, you can actually take it and run it under cool water and wash it in your bubble bath. It washes up real nice. P.S. The second side doesn't quite take as long to cook, so you can always flip and check. I do a little pokey poke in the middle. If you really want to double check, take a little slit and squish through there. But let me show you. Foodies unite. That's some good pancake steaminess. Imagine the smells. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yes. You can do it, guys. Have fun. Good luck.